Hi, welcome to our new episode of Walk Through Clarksville. One of the things about these episodes and these shows that we're wanting to impress upon y'all is the historic significance of some of the buildings in downtown Clarksville. One of the buildings that we want to go over is the Cruzman building behind me here. This is a fantastic 4-story building. It's the historical significance is amazing. Originally built in and around 1865, and it's in one of the only buildings on Franklin Street that survived the fire of 1878. It's named after a J.J. Cruzman. J.J. Cruzman was originally from Clarksville. He ended up becoming a volunteer in the Confederate Army, the 14th, the Tennessee 14th, and he ended up serving in many campaigns. He got severely wounded in West Point, Virginia. It hurt him pretty bad, but he ended up joining as a private and then making rank and assuming command and becoming a captain of his company in his battalion. Well, he ended up getting wounded there, but he still served with crutches, but still served in a logistical capacity. He ended up getting captured and becoming a POW in Pennsylvania, and then escaping to Canada. When the Civil War ended, one of the things that Confederates had to do was take an oath of allegiance. He sadly didn't want to. Once that kind of window closed, he came back to Clarksville and wanted to start a new life. Part of that was seeing what he could do here in Clarksville, and he ended up becoming a joint partner with the grocery store that was here in the first floor of the Cruzman building. He ended up staying there. And the building itself is fascinating. It goes from Franklin Street all the way down to Strawberry Alley. In 1922, it was cut in half and became two store shops. Cruzman ended up passing away, in 1918. But his building still stands as a testament to Cruzman, his business, and also just the strength of the building. In, let's say, about the 1910s, 1918s, the fire department would use this building as a test for their fire hoses. They would see how high they would go, and over time it eventually got to the 4th story. That's why all the buildings down Franklin Street don't go above in and around 4 stories. Across the street to the Cruzman building is the Roxy. Now, the Roxy has a very, very rich history. It originally started as the Lillian Theater, and so entertainment has always been important to Clarksvillians, and so people would go there and get shows, and it was lit up with lights in the front. It's also across the street from the Elder Conroy building, which was a hardware store, and I am actually on the corner of where he had his opera house. The Elder Opera House also burnt down in 1913 as well. The quick note about the Elder Opera House, Booker T. Washington spoke here in 1910. And so he gave a speech here about kind of the plight of the African Americans during that time frame. The Roxy was actually the Lillian Theater, and it had been remodeled and redone as it looks today. It was used as a traditional movie theater and to try to draw everyone and anyone into this into the Roxy itself. Hard times had hit the Roxy, or the Roxy Theater at the time, and it was then sold to the Crescent Theater Group in the late 1930s. They had owned it and remodeled it as well, trying to draw in individuals, especially during the Great Depression and World War II. In 1945, tragedy struck again. The Roxy had also burned down, been remodeled, and had remained open till the late 1970s and early 80s, to when Two Rivers Mall on Riverside Drive had opened and drawn customers away to the theaters and to the shopping areas down there. In 1983, two gentlemen by the name of Tom Thayer and John McDonald came to the rescue of the Roxy. They managed it for 33 years until their retirement in 2016. It's now under the guiding hand of Ryan Bowie, guiding the Roxy into another 33-year future. All I wanna do So in 1994, Sheryl Crow filmed her breakout song, All I Want to Do, in front of the Roxy. It was like very early in the morning, but you can clearly see that it's the Roxy. You can see down Franklin, and it's a great little video and catchy tune. Moving further down from the Roxy, down Franklin Street, we're going to find the fantastic mural Bursting with Pride, painted by Austin P alum Ricky Deal. He had spent almost 8 months painting this gargantuan, magnificent mural depicting 15 of Clarksville's most historic buildings. Churches, my favorite building, the Clarksville Customs House, is also painted on there as well. He was commissioned by the mayor at the time to paint this magnificent portrait, and he had a scissor kind of lifting scaffolding unit kind of raise him up to paint the different portions of the mural. Folks would walk by, and this is quoted in the Leaf Chronicle, hey, how's the weather up there? Because it was painted up pretty high up. That mural in that area has also another secondary historical significance, because that's the start of where the Great Fire of 1878 started from. And so Clarksville is really rich with history. There isn't a square foot that doesn't have some historical fact to it. Thanks for joining us on this episode of Walk Through Clarksville. Remember, all the information about these historic buildings that I've mentioned in this video can be found at your Clarksville-Montgomery County Public Library. So come on down, join us, and we'll help you find some more information.